Good afternoon, folks. This is Daily Life Discussion with Writing Manzoni, also known as Alexander A. Manzoni, a poet living in Spokane, Washington from Newfield, New Jersey. That's a mouthful. I figured I'd better do one of these while I still had the energy. I got a lot of peaks and valleys going on throughout my day. Okay, Google, turn on game room light.
Got it. Turning on 3 lights.
Okay, Google, turn game room light blue. Gotta get the mood, okay? Match it with my shirt. Something to that effect. I'm out of breath already. Don't mind me. I'm just a guy wondering what the hell life has in store for him. After all, there has been many sudden trips around the corner. You never know what's going to happen. And you never know what the end result is going to be. Except in certain cases. Like if you're too drunk to drive, and then you say, hey, I'm going to take your keys, and you can't see in front of you, and then you go driving. Chances are, you might get in trouble for it. You might even get in an accident. And then, I could say, you could have saw that coming. Like the time I crashed into the telephone pole. Oh, I saw that coming a mile away. Or maybe I didn't, or I should have. All I could think about is, I gotta get home. I gotta get this shit off the street. I was riding dirty. Gotta get off the road when you're riding dirty. Luckily, I don't do any more of that riding dirty. I don't do any more, so much of that riding. Except it's in a guest in someone else's vehicle. I wouldn't be able to afford the insurance otherwise. So tomorrow is another glorious trip to the doctors. I'm going to be meeting this guy face to face for the first time. There's no reason why I need to go in there face to face. Nothing that couldn't be done over the phone. How you doing? You need to go to the lab. Get poked. See what's going on. That's it. You doing all right? Okay. Thanks. Here's your check. Have a nice day, Doc. No, he wants to come in and waste my day. From 3 to 4 o'clock tomorrow. Oh, I just love sitting in doctor's offices. That's pretty much my job. It's been my job for many a year now. It sucks. It really does. Living in America, trying to get the correct treatment, physical health, mental health, all kinds of things. And then try to find enough time to love, to laugh, to find out what exists beyond the ether. It's getting tough. It's tough. It's tough to block out all that shit. It's tough to find the proper venue to express oneself. It's friggin' tough. And it ain't getting easier. There's only going to be more distractions. And that's why I do my writing at like 4 o'clock in the morning. God, why? Why are we here? Why am I here? What is this? Well, I'd know a lot more if I spent more time using the damn thing. I get my most of my TikTok consumption from top 10 lists, and they only show me the worst of the worst this platform has to offer. I'll check on the pages of the people that like my posts enough. I'll be like, ooh, I'll go see what they're doing. Just because I see someone's name over and over, and I'm like, oh, I'm intrigued. Who's this character? And then I might even like one of their posts. When I see someone over and over, That's when I know this is a cool person. Probably. I have a list. I do have a secret list of these people. The people that I've seen before. And I'll say, I gotta keep track of this one. Because you know what? Sometimes I'll have someone who will come in and out of my posts. And I'm like, oh, I like this person. They must like me too. And then they disappear. What do? The way TikTok goes, they go banning people left and right. So they basically will wipe you clean. Wipe you off the face of the earth for doing the crime, such as what I'm about to. Oh, sorry, I can't show you that. What is off screen? Oh, that would get me in trouble. Ain't hurting anybody here. But it's obviously hurting the sponsors at TikTok. What kind of content can I create that would be great for these so-called sponsors? What are my pronouns? They say them on my... Oh, I think it just says it on my Instagram page. It's he, him, his. It's hard for me to keep track of that kind of stuff. If I see you enough and you say, this is what I want to be called, I will eventually remember. I will remember eventually. I try my best. I do. I'm not one of those types that'll go off and call for blood. Blood! If you mess up something, you call the person the wrong thing at the wrong time. Don't you know that this person is a man in the morning and is more woman at night? Non-binary, motherfucker! It's like, all right, so how are you feeling today? Well, you know what? It makes it a lot easier for the fact that I do not interact with human beings on a regular basis. I do not. This day that I am very pleased that it did not cut me off when I did that. Which is good, because I don't like having to have my whole life grind to a halt because I'm on this thing. Because you know what? If I don't have to do that, then I can do this more often, and then I can feel a little bit more comfy doing it. I don't have to make everything look good. Ooh, I'm going to frame the fucking bird in the shot. Ooh, I'm going to actually take a shower before I do this shit. Ooh. Hey, Kenny G, how are you? I'm going to resist the urge to tell you to blank, but I refuse to acknowledge a soprano saxophone player. I am an alto saxophone player. Thank you very much. And I would be playing an alto saxophone right now for effect if my mother didn't give it away to a family member because she felt bad for them. As the first instrument I learned how to play was the alto saxophone, and then the tenor saxophone, and then I started playing guitar, and then that ruined my hands, so I started playing keyboards. And it's very nice. That's more of a private thing. I had a lot of issues with people, musicians especially. I took sound engineering courses with a Mr. Michael Tarsia of Sigma Sound Studios from Philadelphia, PA. Yeah, I don't do that. I don't play in front of people. I read poetry in front of people. I'll play a harmonica in front of people. I do simple things. I don't do things where I need to tune shit, get everything set up and perfect. It's like, it's too much for me. And my arthritis is awful. It is awful. And one of the symptoms of my Graves' disease is it makes my skin really thin. So like with a normal guitar player, they will play and their skin will become calloused. And instead my skin shreds like used Kleenex. So even when I was playing every day, it's like my skin wasn't getting any tougher. It was just tearing apart. So now it is a nice conversation piece. I spent a lot of money on guitars too back in the day. I did. And then I sold the shit for drugs. And that's what happens when you become habituated to a certain thing, a certain lifestyle. I was taking the sound engineering course, hanging out with the Grammy Award winning guy. Telling me all the stories about how he was recording rock stars and things. And, hanging out, recording David Bowie and shit. And I was like, yeah, I want to do some of this shit. I want to be a rock star. Yeah. And so I did all the drugs before doing any of the other stuff. And completed the course. And I never want to fucking see that guy again. Well, it's been 7 years this February that I've been off the H. Which is good, because many of my friends are dead now. Wish I could help you out, bro, but I am so broke. Like, I am at this point where I am, well, first off, I don't have a fucking job. And I'm at this point where I'm at the TikTok level where I have more followers than the average person, but I don't get a dime from anybody. I don't get shit. I don't have anybody sending me goddamn nothing. I don't get any free shit. You see all these TikTok guys on YouTube and all this shit, and they're like, millionaires. And, they get all the free stuff. And they're throwing their weight around. I wish God could give me a healthy life. I wish. Instead, I got clean and then realized I had all these chronic health conditions. So now I am, I live in Washington State, so we have a certain legal thing that is beneficial at times for some of my conditions that I cannot speak of and I will not speak of on here, but I can speak of on Twitch and on YouTube and the other things. Thank you, man. I appreciate any follows, any subs, any references to any of my other pages, because for the love of God, I need help. I need it. They say, get your friends to help you out, to come to your shows and do things. I've had an interesting problem with having I'd say around 15,000 followers across multiple platforms, but they're not very engaged, and it's difficult for me to mobilize them since many of them are very international. So when I want to have a show locally and I say, hey, come to my show, who the fuck shows up? Nobody. Well, a couple people. I got a couple people from a Pathfinder group, and my girlfriend always comes. Again, sometimes I get my mom, but generally it's just me against the world with my girlfriend and my mom. But my mom's not talking to me right now, so me and my girlfriend against the world. Oh, man. It's not getting easier. Especially when COVID has destroyed the opportunities. Because I used to think, well, they got all these publishers around here and stuff. I'm just going to keep doing shows. And I'm just going to keep getting out there. And someone's going to reach out to me and they're going to say, hey, Alex, I want to publish your stuff. Your poetry, your novels, whatever you got. We got to do this. Instead, it's been... I got 2 radio appearances like 3 years ago. Well, that was more than I ever expected for what I was when I came out here, which was a homeless drug addict. But still, I always hungered for greatness, or at least something substantial. Something at least to get me out of this damn disability that says that I can't have more than $2,000 in my bank account. Not that I even have close to that. It's ridiculous, man. Well, they want to keep you down. They want to give you just enough so you don't die. But they want to keep you as far down as possible so that you can't rise up and intermingle with the God-fearing Americans. Because a normal person's never going to be like, ooh, look at you, mister, I can't have more than $2,000 or any, any collateral or anything like that. You're a good person to marry. That's right. You should be the father of my children. I am so blessed to have Sophia, that she loves me, and that she has been willing to enter in a long-term relationship with someone as fucked up as I am. Thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you. And thank you for the floating hearts, because I appreciate them very much. It makes me happy. In fact, what does it say about our society where I can't feel good about my own accomplishments, but I have to look at some dial, some little thing, floating hearts, and the goddamn number at the top of the screen? What am I going to be reduced to? One of those guys who say, hey, I'll take a shot for subs, man. No. All right? I'm just going to put myself out there. And if what you see is what you like, then bonjour. Have a couple of seconds. And I don't know how to give you seconds, but I'll figure it out for the most part. And if you're interested in crazy-ass writing of mine, well, I've got plenty of that. And I mean plenty. I'm talking about, I've got a 600-page unfinished novel that I've started writing in 2020. And I've got like 3 more on top of that. I've got probably like 600 poems or 600 pages, like 400, 500 poems, something like that. I have been writing every day for years now. Well, 2 years. But before that, it wasn't every day, but it was almost every day. And I've just tried to keep that going. I mean, I reached a peak a couple years ago where I was doing like 3 to 4 hours a day writing these novels. And then I was using Kratom, a leaf that is over the counter and sold at liquor stores that I'm not supposed to talk about on TikTok, so I won't. But basically, I got addicted to that and was doing it through the Trump years. It was either that or going back to drinking, I'll tell you that much. And I got sick, and then when I tried to get off of it, I had trouble, so I got on some chemical dependency medication through Medicaid, and that's been another year, and I'm still trying to get off this shit. Basically, I went from writing 3 to 4 hours a day to only being able to write 20 minutes a day, because I am so fucking fatigued. You wouldn't believe it from this, but I am so fucking fatigued. It's insane. I just do not have that energy that I did. And you know what? I figure it's once you go up, you must come down. That's what happens, man. You run out of steam, and boy did I. I should have finished the goddamn novels before I ran out of steam. I should have. Instead, I would get like towards almost at the end where I'm like, yeah, this could be the end. This could be the end. And then I was like, ooh, I'm going to start writing something else because I just feel like doing something new for a while. And then that short story would become a novel. I had a political satire novel I was writing about our government through the darkest years. The year 2017, bitches! Well, basically, my writing is my therapy, especially since it's so hard to get therapists to talk and to stay and the pain in the friggin' ass. It is. I don't know why it's so hard to get a therapist that will stay and talk for more than a goddamn 6 months. Now they've got this schedule where you get on a therapist and they'll tell you, oh, in 6 months, you're graduated. You've got to go through this all over again now. We're going to discharge you. And if you have a problem, you can reapply soon. And then I did when COVID started. And then they were like, oh, you graduated again, or you're graduating again. I'm like, oh, God. They put a gun to your head and they're like, here, fuck you, man. You need help? Well, guess what? If you fuck up, you're fucked. Because with the SSI disability payments that I'm on, if I go into a hospital for more than a couple days, I don't get money the next month. So, or jail, or a homeless shelter, or anything like that. So I have to be good. They've got a gun pointed to my head. And they say, be good, bitch, or you ain't getting any fucking money. And I've been good. But while being good, sometimes you need help. But to get help, you need something to spark that. To get them to be like, okay, I will see you again. No. But no, I don't have anything good enough, I guess. Well, I guess if I really came at them with this shit... That's just me being goofy, though. That's an act. Is it, though? I don't know. Depends on my mood. Fuck. Getting sweaty doing this. A part of my condition is that I sweat uncontrollably sometimes. So I'm always wearing these fucking shirts. I get too hot. I get hot. I get cold. Hot, cold, hot, cold, hot. Damn. If I was only dealing with bipolar disorder, maybe I could get back into society and get my shit together. You know, like Mel Gibson or some shit. You see plenty of bipolar motherfuckers that end up in Hollywood. And they're like, oh, this guy's bipolar. Oh, okay. How the fuck do they do those goddamn long-ass shoots? How do they do it? That's snapping. Well, I guess, you always hear about how there's Hollywood folks, they're always flipping the lid and me going, oh, you'll see me in my trailer. Well, it turns out he needed more medication because, people don't think of Mel Gibson the same way as they used to, do they? Ooh. But, he snapped, and he's genuinely sick with manic depression, and I don't think he was taking his meds. So I'll give them a little leeway, even though society, I guess, does not want to the extent that they would some other people that they're willing to forgive. It's strange. Some are, and when they get canceled, they get forgiven. Other ones, not so much. Other people can murder, and then it's like, okay, let's let him back. He's funny. He's entertaining. Ooh, he was, he did some statutory R on some 16-year-olds. Don't worry, he's a rock star. He's really good at playing guitar. It's like, what is wrong with society where we allow people to get away with the unconscionable just because they're talented enough, just because you like their songs enough, just because he wrote a damn book, or he did some comedy, or whatever. I've been watching these 80s commercials, and boy, were there a lot of commercials with Mr. Cosby in them. And every time I see him, I'm like, what a revolting development. They'll be like, Dad of the Year. Ugh. Like, man. You know what? I think I'm watching these old commercials because I'm gathering notes for an upcoming project. Well, I've already been writing poems about this time. I'm trying to determine, would it be good to go back there? No, because I'd have to deal with shit like that, seeing Cosby all the time. And other things, like MASH guys selling IBM computers. But on the other hand, I was trying to collect data, trying to figure out, is there going to be the same kind of nostalgia for like the 2010s? And even the 2000s. The 2000s got Pokemon and shit. I'm sure there's be plenty of kids that are already nostalgic for the 2000s. I'm kind of nostalgic for the 2000s sometimes. But the 2010s, what the fuck did that have? PlayStation 4. The worst president ever. Fuck. I'm trying to figure it out. Like, what are people going to look back on in the 2010s? And be like, boy, that was awesome. I want to look back on that. I want to reboot some of this shit. The problem with the 2010s is there's basically nothing to reboot. Everything to be rebooted has already been rebooted. You keep rebooting or reboot. Oh, another Batman. Another fucking Batman. Batman. Well, the new Batman's supposed to be the best Batman ever, I hear. According to my Twitter feed. Who knows? The hype train is real. I don't trust reviewers. I don't trust fucking anybody anymore. You know who I trust? The YouTubers that are fun, that are not quite, I don't know, the people that are posting about this shit that aren't being paid, that don't have the sponsorships, that aren't quite so fancy. Those are the kinds of people I can accept their thoughts on things. If they're only getting less than 100,000 views on YouTube or something. The little guy, yeah. That's little now. Define what the little guy is. Like, I looked it up. I am a micromanager. Or, yeah. Micro-manager. Jesus, fuck. Micro-influencer. Lord have mercy. I need mercy. I need people to pray for me because I am losing my mind. Yes, as a micro-influencer, it has been determined by the suits that people trust micro-influencers more. Probably because they aren't being paid by these motherfuckers yet. Once they start paying you, once they start getting into your pocket, you know, like I'll see the reviews that these guys will be leaving over the years, and then all of a sudden they'll start getting new stuff. Like people, the companies will start sending them stuff to review before it's even out, and that's when I know it's over. When they start getting it and they're glowing reviews. Oh, this is amazing. And they're all on the same page with each other. It's amazing. The only thing people want to make fun of anymore, really, is old shit. Because old shit, there ain't so many people to be able to defend that. Like the new shit, they don't want to get into too many tussles with people coming out with new things to shit on. No, it's easier to just shit on old things. Like the old games and old times and old clothes and old episodes of TV shows. Or maybe that's what people want to look back and watch. Like, sometimes I watch the Pushing Up Roses channel with my girlfriend, or on my own, honestly. Granted, I started watching the channel for the adventure games videos. But yes, she does a lot of Murder, She Wrote review and react videos that are kind of funny. And also, like, Are You Afraid of the Dark? And old Nick shows kind of reviews once in a while. And I like her style. I do. I like those kinds of reviews. Doesn't seem like she's been corrupted too much by the powers that be. Disney, you motherfucker! You don't even know you're fucking with the Mickey Mouse. You look there. Oh, 20th Century Fox. Oh, fuck. My Alien game is owned by Disney now. What the fuck? The fucking Mickey Mouse owns the goddamn chestbursters and shit. Are they going to have Alien World in fucking Disney World now? Are they going to have fucking flamethrowers and shit? So I saw that you can get a new, rent a $5,000 damn hotel room at Disney World for your ultimate Star Wars experience. And it looks like a goddamn... Well, it looks like one of those Swedish postmodern art pieces that you'd see at like a display at IKEA. $5,000, baby, for your ultimate Star Wars experience. I mean, I used to be crazy into Star Wars, man, but I never would have been like, oh yeah, that's a good investment. But you know, some people are. They do have a chapter of the Jedi, a Jedi religion around here. And they have their own building. I think they have their own arcade, too. They're probably pretty cool, honestly. Probably pretty nerdy, honestly. And you know what? They give them more credit, but then people talk about, oh, Star Trek and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, those fucker nerds. The nerds call them nerds. Well, guess what? I am on both sides, okay? I love trying to accept things from all directions and things like of that nature. For example, I've been known as a poet and a slam poet. Why the fuck do they need to be separate? I don't know. But I'm in between. I like Star Wars. I like Star Trek. I like Doctor fucking Who and Stargate and all the fucking weird ones that people don't like to talk about because they were just like kind of weird and, you know, kind of poorly shot sometimes. But you know what? That's part of the charm, damn it. You know, these people that are like, yeah, you fucking nerd. Let's see. I have been invited to a live thing. Lady 197 Fitness. Oh, I don't know about that. That was the check. They don't give you enough time to react to these things. I have a reduced reaction time due to my medication. I take too much. Hold on. I take too much. I take too much medication. That's what I have to deal with every day. Okay? And for you knuckleheads out there that used to follow me around back in New Jersey and rob my shit, ain't got nothing you want in here. Nothing. Ain't nothing for you. That goes for you too, Dad. Dad used to be like, ooh, here's some of this. Thanks, Dad. And then at the end of the night, he'd be all drunk and he'd be like, go into my bag. Oh, what's he got? Take whatever he wanted. That's part of abusive relationship. When someone will give you something and take something back from you. So you always got to keep your eye out for people who are taking advantage of you. And that's why I try to stick up for people who have mental illnesses, who have problems adjusting to society. You know, I totally understand, well, I don't totally 100% understand people on the autistic spectrum, but I get a lot of the stuff they gotta deal with and why things gotta be the way they are, you know, and how society doesn't seem to get it. You don't get it. Having someone who's different, who operates differently, that can do things differently. But you know what? Us people that do things differently, yes, sometimes we don't know how to tie our shoes properly. Yes, sometimes we do put our shirts on backwards. But other times, we find out solutions to problems you didn't even know existed. Maybe not me, but someone did. Sometime, somewhere. And that's who I support. That's who I'm sticking up for. A guy over there, mumbling in the corner. I don't know who he is, but he's a good guy once you get to know him. But remember, you cannot save the world. I have caused myself many a problem back in the day by trying to help out people where I thought, oh, I'm going to help this wounded bird. And then that person took advantage of me, stole from me, moved in and wouldn't move out, or otherwise. Don't let people move in with you unless you really want them to move in with you. Like if someone shows up to your house and they're like a friend of a friend, and they're like, man, I need a couch to sleep on. I'm having a really bad time. And I'll say, okay, one night. It's never going to be for one night. Thankfully, I have my girlfriend Sophia and living in this house. She's very strong. And I have put up so many barriers to keep people away that I just don't invite people over. Sophia brings over some people, some cool people, Pathfinder people from Idaho, you know, her friends, but I don't invite people over. I invited my mother over for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and, well, that didn't end too well. But we had a good time in some parts. I mean, I posted some of the stuff, videos and stuff on my Instagram and TikTok. And, well, you know, we did have a good time. But the end was a little bit rough. It was a little bit rough. It didn't end very well. But that's invariably what happens when people start consuming copious amounts of alcohol and start ranting about how you got fucked holidays and how the family isn't there anymore. And, oh, my brother, he was supposed to come over for Thanksgiving and then he canceled on us at like the last minute. And he refused to tell us why until after the holiday. So my mother was all in a bad mood the whole time, so it's tough. It's really tough when your moods and your life is kind of dictated by the people around you. My therapists have told me that that's one of my issues. I've got so much of my mood and, am I having a good day today? It would depend on my interactions with my girlfriend and my mother. And either or, like if something was going on, it could just bring me down right away. Like my girlfriend was in a terrible employment situation with Zoom screen printing in Spokane. They're awful. They're very, very fucked up and abusive, and it was just horrible. That was a horrible couple of months. God. And I just got to learn to take things as they come and not be so easily influenced by, well, that's easy for me to say. You say one thing to me. Like if one person said the wrong thing to me in that chat, one person leaves me a wrong comment, my whole fucking day is ruined. So I'm really looking forward to more internet stardom. Yeah, it's going to be great. Well, they say I shouldn't look at the comments, but I mean, I've been lucky these past 10 years or so. It's been mostly positive, 99% positive, and I'm thankful for that. At the same time, the conflict does bring more views. It's like they want you to get into a fight. They won't want you to be friendly with people. They just want you to go right for the throat with each other. They want us to be at war. They want us to be in flame wars with each other. One thing I had to do in the last couple years was I had to stop leaving comments on people's pages when I saw they're leaving fucked up, racist, sexist, dumb shit. Because when it's a certain type of person, there's no talking to them. There really isn't. There's certain types of individuals, usually very conservative. It's coming up. Go away. Go away from my notes. I say snooze and it comes back. God. But yeah, so many of the people that I knew, I don't talk to anymore. Well, I wasn't talking to them to begin with, but I would have talked to them if I went back to New Jersey for a visit. There really isn't anybody back there to visit anymore. And pretty much everybody's dead, except a few people. Shout out to Dan and Ian, Karen, and Bree, and Jason, and it's Amanda, and who the fuck's left? Christ. Oh, Tierney, and Alyssa, and Kimberly, and some of the others. Not you, Charles, you're an asshole. Not you, Charles C. I'm talking about Charles S. Fuck that guy. I never liked him. He used to fucking piss me off so much. God. Don't you hate it when you're hanging out with your friends and you got a good thing going on? Get your group of friends, you like to party, and then all of a sudden, some new kid shows up. And he's talking shit, mad shit. And you don't like him, but everybody else does. And then you realize, oh my God, this guy is going to be part of the set piece for like ever now. And that was him. There's a few people like that. Like they would just start hanging out with us and attach to us like a leech. Because my buddy Turkey, he always had the beers. He always had the whiskeys. And we'd all hang out in his garage with his fucking Confederate flag hanging. And I was just like, But, you know, with the garage door open, smoking doobers, drinking buds, and just chatting sometimes about something I'd want to talk about. Mostly gossip around around Newfield, and sometimes video games, but mostly he'd want to be talking about friggin' trucks and fixing trucks and his job as a truck driver and trucks. Ugh, I couldn't stand it anymore. And then that goddamn little rat Charles came in and started like, oh, Alex is such a bitch. Why are you letting him come with you? He's broke. He's poor. Little rat. Get the fuck out of here. And you know, I never got rid of him. In fact, they got rid of me. But they wouldn't want me back. And I don't want them back. Because shit moves forward, you know. I could have looked past the stupid Confederate flag hanging in his goddamn garage and all that dumb shit, all the sexist bullshit. You know what? The things I used to put up with people who would take me to the bar and buy me a couple of drinks. Now that I don't drink, what is there? You can't bribe me anymore. There's nothing for me to be like, okay, well, I guess I better shut up because this person gave me this. I used to bum a lot of smokes off people. So people think they own you because they do that. They're like, here, have some smokes. Like, all right, now you're going to do what I say. It's like, I'm not your prison bitch. But I didn't have a lot of confidence because I was so used to people beating me down and making fun of me and even, you know, just being treated like shit. Like, I was treated like shit growing up because everyone thought my dad was rich. I was treated like shit when I was hospitalized for being bipolar from suicide attempts. And I kept being hospitalized after that and had to, like, it ruined my school career. Like, I went from being an A student to dropping the fuck out and doing homeschool and shit. They treated me like shit when my dad pissed away all of our money and we were poor. They're like, oh, he's poor now. Fuck that. So I had people treat me like shit because I was poor, and also people who didn't get the message yet who were still treating me like shit because they thought my dad was rich. I'm like, do you see what I'm wearing? Do you notice that I'm riding this decrepit bike instead of driving a car? Okay. You notice that? You're gonna treat me like I'm a fucking entitled, rich kid, okay? Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you. Most of those people are dead. Well, that's the best revenge is good living. And it's debatable as to whether I've been living pretty good compared to how I was living before. Like, I am, aside from my mental illness, aside from my sickness, aside from the awfulness of what is going on outside with the COVIDs and the politics and the Republicans, it has been a 500% increase in lifestyle since, like, the year 2003. It has been a massive increase. Like, from the year, like, 2003 right up until 2014, there was always this thought in my head, we were losing our house, and it was only a matter of time. And then we finally lost it. And then I was homeless for a while. Well, I went and I stayed sleeping on my dad's couch from, like, June until September. And, oh, I could tell you some stories from that period. Ugh. Like, how, here's a little tidbit. I used to come over to smoke with my dad every day when he'd come home from work. And my house had an oil leak in the basement. So everything fucking smelled like oil. This happened while my mother had kicked me out for one reason or another. I was out for like a week or something. Or maybe I left because I was pissed off. I don't know. We were fighting like crazy back then. Came back home and the whole basement was, the basement room was flooded with oil. And so all of our clothes, that was my room, by the way. So all of our clothes smelled like fucking oil for years after that. And I could not get the smell out. So I would go over to my dad's and I'd sit on his couch. And Velma, my stepmother, they never got married, but he was engaged to her for like a decade. She would be like, oh, you gotta sit here. You're stinking up all of our furniture. So I had a designated shitty seat that I was only allowed to sit there. You animal! You animal! You know, and mind you, the couch that I had been sleeping on was, they got it at a thrift store, yeah. So, I didn't know why they were giving me so much shit. It's like, oh, after you leave, I could still smell you. That's nice. If I said that to her, they would have called me a racist. Whoa, too far there. But it's tough. When people are beating you down and treating you like you're a subhuman for so long, just like, you're a drug addict, you're a drunk, you're this, you're that, you smell like oil, you suck. You're going to start having a bad opinion about yourself. And it took me to leave the country, or this side of the country, to be able to get any upward momentum. Like, I had no hope. I was writing, and I wasn't writing the best stuff because I was drunk as fuck. I ended up drinking so much that I got alcohol withdrawal and had to go to the hospital in the July of 2014 to detox. But mind you, I couldn't get into rehab, so I had to tell them that I was suicidal. I can't say that fucking word on here. Idle. But yeah, I did not want to live anymore. And so I went in and just took care of that. So then, once I got out of the hospital, I went back to my probation officer because I had violated the shit out of my shit. And I said, this is what happened. Have mercy on my soul. Please. And bless you, probation officer. She was so nice. I loved her. She was nicer than some of my therapists. She gave me so many breaks. She actually let me off of probation. Well, I've been on 6 years on a 3-year sentence. And she let me off without having paid all my fine. They just were like, okay, you can't pay it, fine. Don't pay it. And as soon as that was off, I was gone. I left. And it took me 5 days on a train to get out here. And I had basically no money. My computer broke as soon as I got on the train. I was like, ooh, I'm going to get on this train and I'm going to write up a storm. I'm going to write so many things. I've got an opportunity. I've got time. I've got the beauty of America all around me. It died. So I had to scribble the best I could, and I wrote a poem in each state. Well, I wrote at least a poem in each state that I went through and tried to have a few words about everything that I experienced. And then I landed in Spokane, and I thought, well, Mom said that I can't stay with Nick, but I think she's just joshing me. I bet I'm going to stay over at Nick's house because my mom was sleeping in one of my brother's rooms that he was renting a house. He was living there with his wife and some guy named Ben, who is now a woman named Beatrice. And I was not allowed to stay on their couch. So they directed me to the homeless shelter. And that was 3 months of my life. Well, I stayed for like a week at the first one, and it was tough. They wanted you to go to church every day. It was tough. They wanted you to job and go to church and go in every day at this time and take a shower with men every day. Stand in line butt naked with a bunch of dudes. Hairy old men. So I couldn't deal with that. Went to the other left and got really drunk and slept rough for 10 days. Did some Breaking Bad stuff that shall not be spoken of. Istel Eth. And then ended up at another homeless shelter until I got on a program to get an apartment. And thank God that it's all been uphill from there. Well, aside from when the tweakers moved in next door. But I came into that apartment. Boy, I loved it. I loved it. even though it was filled with flies, even though the former person that lived there had a duck, and the duck shit everywhere. And they had cats. The shit was just... I tried not to look at the carpet, but if you looked up, it was beautiful. My mother had given me a bunch of paintings to put up. It was great. And then I was doing the online dating thing, and I met Sophia, and the rest is history. During that time, I started going to art shows, and then I discovered the poetry scene around town. I saw some of the people reading poetry. I was impressed by some, but others, I was like, man, I've got poetry. I've got writing. I could fucking do this. And then I started doing it. And for like a year or two, it was I was going at it hard. I was going to as many open mics, as many events as possible. I wanted everyone to know my name. Alexander A. Manzoni. And boy, I made a mark on this town. I mean, they let me on radio a couple times, so it was something, you know. They didn't do it for nothing. But this COVID shit, there is basically nothing. Hopefully there'll be more opportunities. I mean, there are. I'm seeing a couple things, but nowadays I've got a spidey sense for shit. Like, I remember a couple of years ago, I was due to work at this event for Earth Day. I wrote all these Earth Day poems. I was so pumped. Earth Day came and it fucking didn't just rain. It downpoured all fucking day. And it was an outside event. They fucking canceled my performance. So now, yes, I could apply for their next event that are outside around the same time. But do I want to? Do I want to get so pumped and like be so invested for months and months? Like, I'm thinking about this stuff every day when I got this stuff in my blood. And then just for nothing. Well, you know, you gotta keep... You're not gonna get a hit if you don't take a swing. Because there's not a lot of events going on. The ones that are going on are kind of iffy, or they're not really looking for people like me. When I see a lot of anthologies and things, they're not looking for people like me. That's the thing. A lot of them aren't looking for writing. The certain type of... They're like, oh, we want this writing, but we want writing from people like this. From traditionally marginalized communities. And then I'll be like, well, I'm disabled and I was homeless. And they're like, not homeless enough, not disabled enough, bitch. The fuck out of here, white boy. You straight motherfucker, cisgender son of a bitch, get out of here. We want some BIPOCs. The fuck is a BIPOC? Let me pull this one up. BIPOC. I don't like it. I know their hearts are in the right place, but it sounds like it's eventually going to be an ethnic slur one day. BIPOC stands for Black, Indigenous, and People of Color. A term specific to the United States intended to center the experiences of Black and Indigenous groups and demonstrate solidarity between communities of color. So that's what it's really about. Skin color. For example, my girlfriend Sophia is 50% Colombian. Her father is from Colombia. But she's not a BIPOC because she's white presenting. She doesn't want... There are options for her to do Hispanic events around Spokane. But she doesn't feel comfortable doing it because her color is not the right color. It's fucked up. Her last name is Diaz, but she has to explain to people who don't know her. Like, yes, I am Colombian. Yes, I am a white freckled redhead, but I am Colombian. Why do I have to... why does someone have to explain that? Like, it should just be, okay, there you go. Instead, she is not interacting with events for her community, or her, 50% of what should be her community, because of people's perceptions that you can only be part of this community if your color is the right one. How fucked up is that? All right. And I know I've talked to some people, they would tell me, like, well, you should just get good. You should just make some better art, some better poetry, and then they'll have to take you. It's like, I'm not going to be sending my shit to, like, you know, an anthology for Native Americans or an anthology for queer individuals or whatever because of that. Like, have you noticed how long it takes to fill out these applications for these things? It's kind of a process for a lot of them. Although I really like the ones that kind of like just let you slide in. Like, oh, send some poems. Here's your name, your email address, your social media stuff. Here's all that. Okay. Easy peasy. But you don't know until it's too late. And you're deep in, you know, yeah, I'm fucking sending this. And then, seems like, I don't know, too many of the places I've sent things to don't respond at all. And you'll be on a site like Submittable checking it, like the status. 2 years later, nothing. I got a rejection letter from a place that I'd sent something to like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe like 3 months ago. And I was like, why even bother at this point? Fuck you. You ruined my fucking day. You fucking ruined my day. And that's another thing where I'm apprehensive. Like, I just want to submit to publications and things where I have a good indication that they will accept my work and they'll like it, because God, it's crushing. It is crushing to have that shit come back, especially when it's like, oh, I thought it was going to be good. I thought it was going to be a good one, and instead, nope. Some of them can reject you so fast, make your head spin. Fuck. That's why I liked it when people would approach me after these events, and they'd be like, oh, there's this new thing coming out, and they're making a new anthology. You know, you should send this to this. You know, I get the word. And now, since COVID, there isn't so much of a word. Or maybe there is, because I haven't been going to the poetry events at Nito Burrito on Wednesdays. And at Auntie's Bookstore downtown on First Fridays. Because, well, I was hosting an open mic event on First Fridays for a while over at Mad Collab Studios, and they didn't give a fuck about me anymore, so I don't give a fuck about them. So I wasn't doing that First Friday stuff, but the thing on Wednesdays at Nito Burrito, it's very claustrophobic, little taco place, burrito place. It's like 3 hours long. You're looked down on if you leave early. It's very loud. It's like a lot of noise is encouraged. So they're hooting and ooh, screaming and stuff. And oh, it gives me a headache so much. But it's where I've been accepted the most. Their bathroom access is terrible. You have to go through a crowd to get back there. And oh, it's not easy, especially for someone like me. I have to pee all the fucking time. Every half an hour to an hour, I gotta go. And it's tough for me to go, and it's even more tough for me when I'm in public. So, like, when I know I'm going to be reading a poem, I'll have to pee repeatedly. And so, Nito Burrito, they're not cutting it. Sometimes I'd run to the bus station a couple blocks down the street just to go to an open bathroom. But that was the place, man. That was the place to see the young folks doing the poetry. I mean, that was also the place to see the young folks who didn't give a fuck about poetry, that would just go in there to pick up people, to go do some dating. Like, oh, I'm going to bring my significant other to the poetry reading, and I'm just not going to fucking pay attention. Some people, even the readers, don't fucking pay attention. Or they'll just go there, read, and leave. I go in there, I'm there for the long haul. I sit there for 3 fucking hours, 2.5 hours, and I'm like, okay. Or until I can't stand it anymore. And I haven't been there for a couple of years. But, you know, it's expensive too. Like, I go there, I'm not the type of person to go to when they're hosting an event at like a restaurant or something. I don't go there and not spend any money. So a lot of people do that, and it's really fucked up because poetry ain't making fucking money for shit. And it needs the place that's hosting the events needs to make some money to encourage them to keep hosting poetry. Okay, poetry doesn't bring in much money. Okay, they need all the help they can get. I miss some of those folks, but it's so crowded and there's so many people. It's tough. Like, who the fuck do I say hi to first? And it's just, and some people I've been avoiding, and it's awkward. And you don't know. I don't know what to fucking do. I mean, I should pop my head in there one of these days, but it's so tough for being as sick as I am. It's tough for me to get out the door. Like, I don't even want to leave the house. Like, ever. I don't mind. Quarantine wasn't that big a deal for me. And I had the COVIDs. And I was afraid of the COVID. Oh yeah, having to wear a mask indoors for hours at a time. Can't do it. I can do an hour. I could do about an hour and then I'm fucking done. I get so claustrophobic. I'm like, ah! Fuck. It's like, what to do? This is, I guess, is what I'm supposed to be doing. This and the old Twitcherini, which I started doing again last week. And the first day, I got a little bit of engagement. I had to grab my laptop and people were chatting. And I was like, ooh, I'll start doing this regularly. Regularly. Go to my page, even though it's all backwards. Twitch.tv/Gaming Manzoni. Okay. So I started doing that because that's how I blow off steam. I play my PlayStation or my computer games or whatever. I thought, well, you got these people who are making money off of just playing video games all the time. I'll get in on that. So I did. And I did like 9 streams last week. And I did my first one this morning. I'm going to do it from 8 to 10, Monday to Friday, on Twitch, Pacific time. Now, granted, the first day was the most action that I had through the whole week. So since that day, I really haven't had anybody popping in so much or chatting. But I have been playing video games, and I do enjoy that. So that's good. You know, you try to do what you love. And, you know, I love writing. I love playing video games. I love ranting and raving. It's like when I stopped doing my podcast, I loved doing the podcast part of it. Hated editing the files. Because I liked having, you know, edits and things like that. And it just took so long to export like an hour of footage. It sucked. Really pain in the ass. And I kept setting a bar for myself, and then it would take like 8 to 12 hours, maybe. I'd say about 8 hours to do one podcast. Christ, and that's not including writing the poem. Well, maybe I could simplify it and return to that. Basically, this is the podcast now. Welcome to Manzoni in the Morning Podcast, live, starring Alexander A. Manzoni, the poet from Spokane, New Jersey. Thank you. I envisioned a stage, a place for a person to express themselves, to give the whole of their spirit before whatever's inside them explodes and rips out from the beats, and you can't even deal with what's coming out. Got a lot of stress. Shouldn't be, but there is. I'm going to read a poem, and I'm going to head out because it's 4 o'clock, and I'm probably going to get a phone call very soon from my beautiful girlfriend, and I don't really want to be talking on the phone too much while I am live streaming. It's called I Don't Know Who I Am Anymore. And that is a fact. I could be one of tens of millions of anchovies swirling about the briny deep, ready to get swallowed up at any instance by any number of whales or assorted, colorful seabirds. Come on, you motherfucker. That's not gonna work. I could be an ant, discombobulated, lost forevermore from its origin colony, too stupid and too small to find my way back home. I could be a mangy dog on the mean streets of Kolkata, fighting tough as nails monkeys for errant scraps and garbage treasure hunts, pushed aside in favor of the herds of holy cows stopping traffic without pause. I could be a woodpecker, lost in the upper Arctic. There are no trees to be found above the circle. I peck into the ice, but it makes not the sound that so comforts me. I could be a dust mite pirate captain, one so caught in the roiling seas of under the bed dust bunnies. At any moment, I could be devoured by the machinations of a simple $200 handheld shark vacuum. I could be a one-celled paramecium. I could be me. Thank you. This was Manzoni in the Morning and the Afternoon podcast live stream extravaganza. I will hope to join you soon. Tomorrow at this time I will be in a doctor's office, so maybe I can even live stream from the doctor's. Who knows what will happen? I hope to see you soon. Please like, follow, subscribe, do whatever you can do. Help me out. Help me, please. I am drowning here. Thank you. Try not to come out too desperate.